Celtic Park, and solid support for Neil Lennon as manager.
But no title party for the Celtic supporters. The trophy presentation was at Rugby Park for Rangers.
Well, Lafferty had such a big say in this game. Indeed, at the end of the season, Ali McCoy's too will take the reins next campaign alongside Kenny McDowell, and he seems to have learned his trade from one of the masters in Walter Smith, who, along with his captain David Weir, are last up on the podium. It's almost time. It will be 3 in a row for Walter Smith and for Rangers. He and David Weir left the SPL trophy. It may be Walter Smith's last time, it may well be David Weir's last time, but what a way to do it! The champions of 2011 are Rangers. And just a couple of weeks ago, this looked so unlikely. And then Celtic went to Inverness and the whole thing turned. It turned in Rangers' favour. Well, he's going to milk this for all it's worth, Walter Smith. Some of the other players there who couldn't finish the season, Vladimir Weiss, for example, on loan from Manchester City, ruled out in the closing weeks because of injury. Alan McGregor's penalty save, just as big as Celtic's slip in the Highlands. The save from Georgios Samaras in the Old Firm derby just a few short weeks ago when it was advantage Celtic. And when you think of the trials and troubles that Rangers have had throughout the campaign, the loss of their top scorer Kenny Miller in January, the injury to Jelavic, the takeover saga that didn't seem to end, and Walter Smith is enjoying his swan song here, presenting the SPL trophy to the Rangers fans who occupied most of Rugby Park for this game. And he hands over the trophy to the new regime, Ali McCoist and Kenny McDowell. And it will be they who will be in charge next season. McCoist once said it was like taking the microphone from Sinatra. He's taken the SPL trophy from Walter Smith here. The new regime in, Walter Smith out, but on such a high.
And from Rugby Park, back to a packed Ibrox, where the celebrations continued.
Fantastic way about. I mean, I would never have imagined that something like this would happen, so it's fantastic as it has.
You've said all along this one wouldn't be any more special, but now that you've done it, does it feel any different?
No, it feels, well, you get a fantastic feeling at the present moment for so many supporters to turn up, you know, after our presentations. It just shows the depth of feeling that everyone has for the club, so it's great.
You've left this man, Ali McCoist, with some act to follow.
I'm sure he will be prepared for that. He knows the situation, and you know, he knows what you have to do at Rangers, regardless of whether you win this year. You know you've got to win the next year.
You've got quite an act to follow here, in case you hadn't realised.
Oh, I had realised that, to be quite frank with you. But somebody's got to do it, and I've just said he's arguably the greatest manager this fantastic football club has ever had. We've obviously some wonderful managers going all the way back to Bill Struth, but Walter Smith, history will look back on his achievements here, and they're comparable with anything. I would also, and I make no apology for being biased, I would also say he's up there with the great Scottish managers of all time in terms of his success, whether it's Shankly or, you know, Ferguson, Steen, Busby, all wonderful men, and I think he's of that ilk, I really do.
How special a title victory was it this year? Was it the hardest spot of the 3 in a row, would you say?
I would take it further. I would say it's certainly the greatest championship I've ever been involved in, and I've been lucky enough to be involved in a few as a player. But these boys, there've been a lot of criticism levelled at them. People have said that they weren't maybe not the youngest, people have said they weren't the fittest. Well, I'll tell you what they've proved they're the best. And that's something special. And the players deserve every ounce of credit that we can give them, because they've been wonderful to work with.
Do you get a moment's rest now, or does the planning for next season, is it immediate almost?
Well, it's immediate. We're actually going rafting tomorrow, believe it or not, for charity, whitewater rafting in Idaho. We're away for a period of time over there to hopefully raise some money for the charities, and then we're back and we're straight into it. When the lads have got some 1 or 2 holidays booked, I don't have anything booked myself, but this is more important than anything. These people deserve to see the best that we can give them on the park, and believe you me, that's what we'll do.
And Walter Smith will probably be crowned the Idaho whitewater rafting champion, bearing in mind his recent record. Billy, is this his best ever title win when you think about money being too tight to mention, the distraction of the takeover, losing his top scorer halfway through the season, Kenny Miller, and Nikita Jelavic, the other leading goal scorer, was out for 3 months?
Yeah, I think that's why Ali McCoy said that as well. He'll just feel as if, you know, they've had a lot to handle this season, the financial side of it, losing players, the battle with Celtic right to the death, and I just feel as if that's why he's come out with that statement and said it's the best so far.
Hard act to follow, Pat. When you look at Walter Smith's record of bringing in trophies, absolutely incredible. 10 titles, a total of 21 trophies in his 2 spells as Rangers manager.
As manager, yeah.
So Ali McCoy has that to look at and to try to emulate that sort of
he's got a few years to catch up now, right enough. But I think, and also add on top of that what was there for a period under Graham Souness as well, so he had an impact in that as well. So yeah, it's a huge amount to do, but I don't think Ali can think that far ahead. Ali has to think, well, we get the first one under his belt, and he'll be looking forward, as he says, till next season. So, and when he gets that right and he gets the players in he wants, and he's got a few quid now, and one of the big things is sometimes you've got to be lucky as well as good. Ali takes over the club as champions with a few quid in his pocket, and that's not been the case.
It could have been tense and twitchy for Rangers today, Billy. It certainly wasn't. Not in their wildest dreams could they have thought of being 3 up inside 7 minutes.
I kind of thought it would go this way, maybe not 3 goals in 7 minutes, as you say, but fine finishes they were. And Letheren, since he's come to Rangers, had a lot of stick, but he comes good at the end of the season. He plays well in big games. Obviously, he's lob here, and it was good to see this young guy pick his head up. He's got a big future in the game. He'll be coached, and sometimes he just runs at people, but picks out a good pass and a wonderful finish from Stephen Naismith.
Yeah, and you look at Naismith and Davis often in the middle of it. I think the tactics have been brilliant at the end of the season. A big thing is to finish a marathon with a sprint at the end. See, if you've got a sprint at the end of the marathon, you're hard to catch, and that's exactly what Rangers have done here.
The icing on the cake was the 4th and 5th goals for Rangers, because that was job done when the first 3 went in. Another thumping win for Rangers. They have been steamrolling the opposition in the last few weeks, haven't they?
The way they've handled the situation after losing to Dundee United, getting into this tense situation where there's nerves, there's tension, they've handled it brilliantly, because they seem to get better. There were games this season where they were struggling to win games. They didn't look as if they were playing well. Now they started scoring goals as if we've been here before, we can handle it, and that's exactly what they've done. And they killed it off early today, and then they can go and enjoy the game.
It was a strange atmosphere at Celtic Park today, where they must have been thinking, well, if it's goalless at Rugby Park for 15-20 minutes and Celtic can score early, that might sort of transfer some tension across. It went the other way around, and for Celtic it must have been difficult.
Torture for the Celtic players, and the fact that they stuck at it today and they managed to score 4 goals in the game was very good for them, because you have to be professional at this point in time. And actually tough at the start, because obviously they knew right at the start that Rangers had gone ahead and it looked as if it was out of their hands, and you were there yourself, and there was opportunities for Motherwell to score, but they had to be professional about it, and they were professional about it. And it was good Celtic football. In fact, this is very much like Celtic the way you expect to see them play this season, you know, expansive, particularly at home, sharing the goals around the team as well, and really it was no surprise that it went past Motherwell. And Motherwell, it has to be said, who were a weakened side, who were giving absolutely nothing away before next week's cup final.
Let's look back over the season, some key points in the season, and the title pendulum certainly has swung back and forth with great regularity, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and I mean, a lot of people, there's been a lot of off-field problems this season, but I think when you look at it, the way it has swung back and forward, that's what's made it so dramatic. And I mean, at some points you think, oh, Rangers are doing well, and then they lose Kenny Miller, and then you think, oh, Celtic are running away with it. They thumped Rangers in an Old Firm game, and you think they're going to go and squish the title. But Rangers come back, there was like a bit of experience there from Walter Smith. There was so much swinging back and forward. That's why it made it such a great season.
Wasn't Kenny Miller the big part of it? Wasn't he the important part of it at the start, because Rangers, right at the start, looked the best, didn't they? They looked on fire. He was scoring he was unstoppable at the start of the season. And I think maybe he was the difference. And also, remember at the start of the season, Celtic's defence did look shaky. I know they didn't lose many goals throughout the season, but their defence, and the start here in this game, the 3-1 game, for Rangers, you just thought, wait a minute, Rangers are on top of this. But it changed pretty quickly.
Yeah, Samaras did the damage at Ibrox, and at that point, you're beginning to think Celtic favourites.
Yeah, in terms of how they've spent this season, the squad they had together, they're scoring goals, they were playing good football, everybody was talking about their style of football, and then they go and thump Rangers in this game. And you think, by the way, there's no way that Rangers can keep this going now. They're struggling financially, their squad's small. But
losing players, everything was going against Rangers. I couldn't see it until this one. This is the one for me. The cup final.
Turned it, didn't it? It really did. And it's the first time Rangers in big games for the last few years, whether it's in Europe, whether it's Old Firm games, have always tended to play with one up front. It was as if they were forced into this game. We're going to have a goal, we're going to have two up front, and it worked, and they go on and win the cup. And
I think they adapted their entire season from this. They thought to themselves, like, we'll not be a sitting team, we'll not be a breaking team. We'll go and attack, we've got good players here. And there was a real belief in it. I think it's a lot again, that man Jelavic comes on and starts getting his fitness back. When he first came into it, I thought, he's the best technical player in this division now, because I'd seen him beforehand, and there was no doubt that the Rangers deserved the win on that day. And from then on in, you thought to yourself, this is a team that if they can keep everybody fit, and that was imperative, if they kept everybody fit, they were going to make it. But having said that, Celtic had their chance.
Yeah, last Old Firm match of the season. That could have been the goal had it gone in that gave Celtic the championship.
Well, that's when you're thinking again, Celtic score here, it's all over again, and they're going to go and win it. But McGregor has been massive for Rangers this season. He's a class goalkeeper. What a save. And that's another thing that turned it Rangers' way.
Yeah. Can I quickly say about that? A lot of people will suggest that, oh, Samaras, you've made a terrible mistake there, you've cost Celtic the league. That was a brilliant penalty save. That was a fantastic save. That was a decent enough penalty. It was in the corner. It was placed with power. That was a great save. So it may well be, it wasn't Samaras that lost it for Celtic, it was McGregor that won it for Rangers. Yeah,
we speak about Jelavic and Lafferty and Miller, their goals being so important. Alan McGregor's saves right the way through.
And the Rangers fans idolise him. I think he wants to sign a new deal. They're talking about a new deal. There'll be offers from England. He's that good. But if Rangers can keep him now with getting the takeover sorted and Craig White coming in, that'd be a real coup for them.
Refereeing decisions, Pat, have been high profile this season, with Celtic reckoning that they haven't had a fair crack of the whip.
Yeah, and this one, to be honest, I thought the referee got this decision right. A lot of people are arguing about it. I think the keeper got something on this, but it wasn't the decision that people were annoyed about. It was the way the decision was made. We could go over this time after time. I think there's a slight touch in it by the goalkeeper, but it's a tricky one. It's a tight one. This is the one that shows you right hand there, left hand, little touch on it. But it was the change of decision by the referee. And that's why some Celtic supporters felt that there was a conspiracy against him, and Neil Lennon was furious in that one as well. And I can understand why he was angry about that, and this just added to it, you know, because this was a poor decision. But referees make poor decisions. It's not, that referee's not sitting there thinking to me, oh, I think I'll have to quickly give Rangers a penalty kick here. No, he made a mistake. He can't see it. It was a dive. He got it wrong. People get it wrong.
Yeah, that angle there, he didn't see it. But
no, he didn't.
And you're right, penalty decisions, you get them, sometimes you don't. I think it was when whether they're small lies, big lies, whatever, I think when the referee started telling a few porkies that Celtic had a case. But with the penalty decisions, that can go your way or it can't go your way. So that was... I have
to say, for anyone outside Celtic and Rangers, believe me guys, Celtic and Rangers get all the decisions in comparison to everyone else. And I have to say, I never felt there was conspiracy. I know a lot of Celtic supporters won't believe me, won't agree with me, but I've never felt that was the case. Sometimes they go for you, sometimes they go against you.
It's interesting, Billy, to look back on Old Firm drop points. Obviously, the earlier in the season, they were the less significant. This was Rangers losing to Hibs at Ibrox.
And it came out of nowhere because Hibs were absolutely toiling at this stage of the season, and you're thinking, oh, it's another 3 points for Rangers on the board, and they go there and thump them 3-0. And then I was at this game, it's 94 minutes. Sean Dillon pops up, Celtic drop points. So that's the way it's gone all season, and that's what we want time and time again. We want drama. We want it going to the last game. We want it swinging back and forward. Yeah,
but we say that it's swinging back and forward, and it was great that there was that excitement. But we've had to pick these out specifically, haven't we? Because the two teams got a huge amount of points, 93 and 92 points. Celtic had a good excuse that day. They were playing in the face of the moon that day. The terrible conditions they were playing in, and they just beat Rangers a week before that. So when you get ahead, you have to make good use of it. You have to stamp your authority on it, and that's what Celtic weren't able to do. But it just kept on going to and fro. And I have to say, Dundee United had a big impact in the season this season as well, didn't they?
Well, you'd have sworn Rangers had blown it against Dundee United at Ibrox that day.
So everybody was telling us, and everybody was saying that, including myself. But then this, for me, is a game. I mean, this is a game for me that Celtic threw away the title. They didn't handle the situation, they didn't play well, the pitch wasn't the best. Inverness were great on the night, and they just couldn't handle it. And whether that was down to first time they've been in that position as a new team with a new manager and they just didn't know how to go over the line, I don't know, but it didn't go their way that night and they were well beaten.
Yeah, there was a rather funny point, song sung today by the Rangers fans. I don't know if you heard it, but there's only one Terry Butcher was sung around Killie today, and the Rangers fans were having a great part in it. It has to be said, I agree with Billy. That's the game I think a lot of people will look back on and think Celtic had their opportunity and they blew it.
That'll haunt them for a long time.
On the back of that result, and as the title race has gone down to the wire, Billy, Rangers have gone into overdrive, haven't they, in terms of performances and goals?
Rob, I watched them time and time again this season when I thought they're not playing well, but there was experience to win games in different ways, whether it was just grinding out a 1-0, but then suddenly, and under this pressure, Pat, where you know sometimes you don't play open football, expansive football, but some Rangers just took off for some reason. Two up front, started scoring goals. Lafferty, Jelic, huge part to play after Miller going. Jelic injured earlier on in the season.
You'd actually no right to do that because you've got such a small squad. They should have been tiring, but I think the players got to know each other. Davis and Naismith started playing their best football. Jelic on fire. Everyone working together. It's just as I was saying there, you know, if you're running a marathon and you've got a sprint finish, it's always going to be useful for you. But at the end of this season, I have to say, I don't know if I've seen Rangers playing a lot better than that, certainly for a few years. And the first 25 minutes against Dundee United the other night there, I thought they were absolutely fabulous. And for that, they were deservingly. And I think Rangers fans will enjoy it as much as any recently because it hasn't been, you know, defensive breaking away. It's been flowing football near the end of the season.
A lot of people say there was a defiance about Celtic, and there is a defiance about... I think there was a defiance about Rangers. Everything against them. Financial worries, losing their best players, Jelic injured. There was a defiance there, and that's what got them through.
There's lots of interest at the moment in terms of what effect recent events have had on Neil Lennon. He had a media conference today after the match against Motherwell, and he made it clear he's not for walking away.
If I was to walk out on the club or resign, you know, I've brought a lot of these players here. I owe it to them. They've been magnificent for me all season. And, you know, we think we've got a nucleus of a very good squad here, and it's something to look forward to and build on. We're very, very disappointed. Me personally, I don't like finishing second at anything, you know, and the priority was the championship. I'd like to congratulate Rangers for to win the league with 93 points, takes some doing, and, you know, they showed great consistency in the running. And obviously, I'd like to congratulate Walter as well. He's been a tremendous ambassador for the game in Scotland. Being a manager, wherever you are, it's a very precious job because you have a lifespan of not a long time. We are in the game because we love it. We love football. I think all managers are the same. They think they can make a difference. They think they can bring success to whatever club they're at, or improvement or progression. And that's what I want to do here. It's been a pretty emotional week for a lot of people surrounded with the club. It would be fitting for the players to finish the season with something in the trophy cabinet. I think they deserve it, and I think the supporters deserve it.
Considered opinions there from Neil Lennon. How much has he learned, do you think, in his first full season of football management? And it's some hot seat, isn't it, at Celtic Park? There's a lot of criticism, Billy, about the way he behaves and a feeling that he sometimes brings trouble towards him. What do you think?
For most of the season, I'm a big backer of Neil Lennon. I love his style of football. I love his passion. See him kicking bottles about and jumping about. I think that's a passion in sport. Give me that all day long. I think 95% of the things he does is fine by me. There's a 5%. If we're all going to take a responsibility to change this country, whether it's sectarianism or racism, I think Neil has to take a little bit of responsibility and just change a couple of things, tinker with a few things he does, and I think he'll be fine. But you're right, he's learning all the time, and I think he'll continue to learn, and I think he's got a long time to do it, because I think he'll be in that hot seat, as you say, for a long, long time. It's
completely unreasonable, Pat, what Neil Lennon has had to put up with this season. Can that come to a stop?
I hope so. First of all, I'd like to say Neil Lennon's not done anything for me that other managers haven't done before him, so it's not Lennon's fault. He's a lightning rod for this, but I'm not taking any more of this blaming other people. People have to look into themselves for the problems they've made. Rangers have had the problems. They've been well documented. At least UEFA having a go. SFA should have a go next year, particularly sectarian singing. And Walter Smith and Alan McCoist have been good on it. So there's no place for that in a civilised society that we're going into. Celtic have to look at themselves as well. And I know a lot of people at Celtic supporters are saying it's not our problem. I watched the Hearts game the other night there. Now, there was IRA songs all the way through that game. That is not acceptable for me, and I'm not going to put up with that. I don't think I should have to put up with that. And I'll tell you what, I don't think the Celtic board should ignore it either. There was a statement after that game, and there was no mention at all of that. If we're actually going to accept this, that we actually have to fight against this, everyone has to take responsibility together. Now, the clubs aren't the original reason for this, but you know what? They could solve the problem, or could help solve the problem, but they've got to work together.
Let's hope for progress.